concept to teach your folks, and it's really, really simple. What is it? All you have to do is put on the order what the customer wants. That's the initial clue. Don't tell them what you have. Just always say, how many do you want? Or whatever that initial number. They want it 10. All the rest of this will work its way through. System pops up as 9. We only have 9. Do you want to back order it, Mr. Customer? If they say no, I'm going to push the lost sale through. If they say yes and cancel it tomorrow, I'm going to push the back order through. It's all right here. If I capture initially what the customer wants, the ship and back order will work itself out with the conversation with the customer. So you can't have those conversations up front when they call, how many you have, or we're doing it on the inquiries first. We only have 9. We go back to sales order, 9 ordered, 9 shipped, 100% fill rate, wrong usage. Just have your folks always capture what the customer wanted. All right, now, Grant. This is great while I'm already in sales entry. I've already put on the header. I'm already in there. I'm filling it out, and I'm just putting on what the customer wants, products and quantities and the order, and filling out the back order and ship. No big deal there. But what about if they call me? You know, I'm not in a sales ticket. I'm kind of busy. They call up. They ask about something. We don't have it. All right, what can I do there? I'm just giving you an open or different way. Some systems, we just keep an open lost sales ticket out there, invoice it once a month. So we set up a customer called lost. And again, your people can quickly pull up an open order. They wanted 10 of these. I didn't get any of them. Slam that product on it, that quantity, get back out. They've just captured the lost sale for the 10 on the fly very quickly and move on. Invoice that order once a week. Grant, that's still taking, I've got 3 phone calls waiting for me. I'm really busy. I don't even have time to go into our open sales ticket. There's this wonderful technology that invented, I guess it was about 2,000 years ago. There's now a little debate whether it was in Asia or they're saying it's somewhere else, and I forget where it was, Korea or something, but it's called paper, you guys. There's a certain time that technology, even though we think it's gone, hey, you go in the company I work with, write down a product and a quantity. That's all we need. I'm that busy. Get it put into lost sales later. Product and a quantity. Go into companies, keep a lost sales open. Now, fax has some pretty quick ways to put in lost sales. SX doesn't have quite the quick ways, but paper is a technology that's, I don't want you doing it for everything, but there's certain times technology works that 2,000 years old. What's worse, letting it go out and not capturing the usage because it takes a little bit of time, or having the usage, having the product on the shelf when the customer wants it? I'm asking you to do things different. I'm asking you that you're going to spend a little time somewhere else. But you guys spend about 70, 80% of your time fighting fires and making it look better after the fact, whereas we could get 90% of this right up front, and we will make time by logging lost sales, working exceptional sales, working exception reports. Lost sales is worth working. Plus, it'll keep your fill rate report right, and we already talked about this. What's an exceptional sale? It's not a large sale. It's a one-time, non-reoccurring, if it's one. Even when I sell one time, that could be an exceptional sale because I don't plan on it repeating. Anything on that part? So let's just go through this a little bit on lost sales. In SX, oh, where was the question?
Well, it's more directed at the salespeople, but if anybody's got a good idea to how to keep them from cheating.
Well, here's what. Again.
I mean, because we've been through that before.
Yeah, they're going to cheat.
They lost a sale for 5, and they entered 4 lost sales for 5, just to prove a point that, we need more stock.
Well, again, here's the first thing I say. Well, you're bringing up a point. I'll go into companies, and I get ready to talk about lost sales, and right away they'll pull me and say, shh, don't teach my salespeople about lost sales because they're going to abuse it. The first thing I'll say, Mike, is teach them lost sales. Or they have 1,000 ways. I've worked at many companies. They have 1,000 ways they're going to bring in inventory. Don't give them lost sales. I'll put on a dummy ticket. When you bring me in the inventory, I'll delete the dummy ticket, and I still have the inventory. And I could sit here if you have all day, and I'll give you 1,000 ways they can bring in inventory. So here's where I'm at. If you go educate them, customer experience and profitability, the proper lost sales and why they work, have a good lost sales monitor report, because some of this is not taken for gospel. I got someone looking at it. I now have inventory managers that aren't spending all day, 10 hours a day, just punching numbers to cut POs. They're spending an hour a day cutting POs, right, you guys? And they're spending 7 hours making sure we have good data and parameters. Good education stops us. Here's what I know, and I'll share it right now. It was for a later section. but I'm going to do it right now. Here's where we're at. If you go out and look at employees, and we go out and analyze, do your employees do a good job? Do they do what they're supposed to? We'll come back in that 98% of employees, not quite 100, but 98% of your employees want to do a good job for you. Yet only about 60% on average actually do a good job for you. So let's first talk about that disconnect. If 98% want to do a good job, but we only got 60% doing a good job, what's the disconnect? How many of you have formalized procedures again? Taking advantage of your tools and doing formalized education to your folks? I'm seeing 1 or 2 hands. So here's what we hire someone, we throw them in for a day, and we're expecting them to do all this, and then we get really peed off at them, even though in their heart they thought they were doing the right thing, but we haven't shown them. 90% of those, when you look at them, or this gap here, that's the folks that want to do a good job, but we haven't given them the methodology. So they're still going in their heart doing what they think is right for the company. We just haven't shown them a better method. And anyone that has children knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, I can tell who has the kids. All right? Sometimes they're not looking to do something stupid. We just didn't teach them a better way. So again, first it starts with that. Get the PRET in place, process, education, technology. Now, there's 2 reasons people do things. Only 2 reasons. If we go back 200,000, so just before caveman, BC, my example this morning, just as we were getting ready to take that step into what we call modern man 200,000 years ago, 99.6% of our brain still works exactly the same as before we became what they call modern man. And there's 2 things that still drive us like all other animals, and what are they? Pain and pleasure. It's that simple. We migrate towards things that are of pleasure, and we try to stay away from pain. So now, we can make our system what? If we catch them doing something wrong, we can have it shock them, right? We can put shock collars on them. He's over there, yeah. We can put thumb screws on them, right? But we also eventually get used to pain. It's an amazing thing, whereas pleasure, we can never get enough of that. So where I'm going is if you teach your folks how to do it right, teach them the benefits of doing it right, and teach them that every dollar you inflated your inventory fictitiously is a dollar over here that you can't have that you really need it. And you go through this process, you'll be absolutely amazed. They will come along. They'll police each other, they'll watch it, and they won't do nearly the abuse. But I'll still bring it back to this. Why were they abusing it? And here's the big thing. Why were they abusing your lost sales system? They wanted something. Now, was it valid or not valid? In their mind, it was valid. Let's slap some procedures around that. Okay, you needed it. We've got lost sales that we show if 10, it does make sense. But here's what we do. Go log your lost sales. You can see if they inflated it. You can find the abusers. You'll get a couple abusers. And that's where I'm going back to this last 2%. There are 2% of your folks out there, no matter how much education, how many benefits, right procedures and PET, they really don't want to be there. All right? They don't really care. Every one of you already have a face. I already know. As soon as I go over that, you already got someone in your mind at your company. Send them off to your competition, let them paralyze them for a while, and work on the other 98%. I know that's a roundabout answer, but people only abuse when they think that's the right way to get it. Show them a better method, and they'll follow the better method. Fair answer? Now, what's the flip side of this? I'm just going to flip it around. Let's not log lost sales. Let's not do it. I'm scared. Let's make it a policeman. Then all I'm ever going to have for usage is what? What we happened to have yesterday. Right? And then we're going to have a bunch of emotional data-free conversations with the president and the sales manager that we could sell 1,000 of these because it's emotional, and you're going to bring the 1,000 in, and you're still going to be stuck with 999 of them in a year. Fair? Now, I know I get passionate about that, but I've seen this work. Your employees are not trying to screw you up on purpose, maybe 2%. Most of them want to do a good job. Most of our kids want to be good. We just have to give them the ropes and show them the way. Okay. I got another question here.
Where a customer called over 4 days Did your leather arrive? Did the goods get here? And every day he called for that item, it got recorded as lost business. Yep. It quadrupled what we needed. So lost sales is important when done correctly. When done incorrectly, it can really damage you, and that's why we've added the layer of editing to it. Turn in the piece of paper, we're going to review it. We have instant visibility instead of waiting for the system to come back to us, and you get rid of some of that.
Now, I would add a twist to that. I don't mind reviewing it up front. I'm good with that, right? And again, I would use the system because you can get a report right off the system. So I'd let them put it in. I would look for the abusers. I would go back and say, are they abusers or are they just not educated through our pet? I'm going to re-educate them. And you can find these easily through good exception reporting. If they're 2 or 3 times abusing it, I'm going to think differently. But 90% of the time, they weren't intending to abuse them. It's just what you said. Oh, the same guy called in 5 times. I logged it 5 different times. That's going to happen. All right, but again, I don't want to make it too much work that we have to do all this. Now, here's the last part. If I'm going to make a mistake, and this is where I always bring this, it could be at the time of looking at the report. It could be the time me doing OE, and I'm not sure if it's a lost sale or not. You know, I'm not sure if this guy would come back. Should I log it as a lost sale or not? If I'm going to make a mistake in my company, in today's world, because you can make the mistake towards what? One of 2 things that we started everything with. Customer service, log the lost sale in favor of that, bring it in, or because we still have 1 set of people between usage and a PO being cut. That's why you guys are still here. You are still the gatekeeper of monitoring, at least looking at a PO and go, does it make sense? That's how you started catching some of those. Why is it trying to buy all this? So you still have a catch in there. Lost sales does not become product on your shelf. It's just usage. So again, coming back to that is, if I was going to make a mistake, and I'm not sure, I would tell my folks to log lost sales, even the 5 times if they didn't know any better. Because if I don't log it, what's the mistake in favor of? Don't bring it in. Nothing's ever going to say it, and it's going to be helping profitability, but in the end, you're going to lose because you're not bringing in the item. So again, there are times we have to make gray decisions. And we make a gray decision, I'm going to line that back up to, if I make it wrong, which one's going to line me up with my company objectives? I come from a world stellar customer experience at the lowest cost to serve. I would rather err towards customer experience than profitability. Just giving you my opinions out there of what I've seen work well. Fair over there? Okay, we're going to do one more and I'm going to move us on. Or we'll be over our reception time and you guys will beat me up for that. So I know distributors and drinks.
So if somebody tracks a lost sale, say you were selling 2 a month and the customer calls, I want 10 of these. So they track it as 10. You're still going to see that as an exception in your buyer's dashboard saying, hey, you were normally doing 2 of these a month. Now somebody wanted 10.
Yeah, if you have exceptional usage turned on, that lost sale is, in our system, from the big picture, there's no difference between a sale and a lost sale. It's in your usage bucket, it's going to get used, so it would flag it as an exceptional month that's going to come out. You know, there's all types of things around this that's going to help. And again, our last stop is we're actually cutting a PO and we're going to watch it. Is it going to be perfect? Absolutely not. We're going to end up bringing a few things that we shouldn't have, this and that, but it's still going to be a lot better than, we didn't bring in any of it. Where's all our customers? Down the road at the competition, because that's what it's going to lead to. Fair? Okay. Okay. So, lost sales, we were going through your system a little bit. Let's jump back into this. I just want to show you this. It's also tomorrow. Lost sales are not hard. The key is capturing what the customer wanted. Customer called, they wanted 200 of this. I forget what it even is. Doesn't matter. If we come down here, we had 0 to ship. If you notice in the SX, they did not check the back order, so all 200 of this is going to go to a lost sale. Now, in SX, you have a couple different, in all of them. There's 2 different types of main lost sales I like to talk about. There's others, but what are the 2 big reasons I lose sales? 1, I didn't have it. 2, price too high. I want 1, I didn't have it to create usage, correct? If I capture a lost sale due to price too high, do I want that to go to usage? Absolutely not. Unless you go change your pricing, you're still not going to get the business. So you can set up different reasons. And behind that, you can say, this reason, if they use it, go to usage. This reason, price too high, don't go to use it, but we want to use that for our pricing optimization. So you get to pick what goes to usage and what does not. All right, be back there in a second, Eric. I'm going to keep us moving for a minute, and then we'll come back, and then work over that way to get you included. So again, put it on. What do they want? How many am I shipping? Are they back ordering? There's our usage flag. That's going to log a lost sales for 200. I'm going to push it through. In SX, if you don't give it a reason, some people go, you know, my folks aren't good at capturing the reason. If you set up a reason called XO, if you don't give a reason in SX to why it did it, will default everything to XO. So where we're going is so many customers have come in and set up XO, and they've made XO go to use and say, you don't even have to log a reason. Just log the lost sales. We'll send it to XO, and we're going to push everything to usage. So just giving you a few hints how to use SX smarter. And again, in SX, you have to come into the SASTT screen, come in here, and check on that particular reason. Do I want it to go to usage? So if it was lost sales due to availability, I would have this checked. If it was priced too high, I would not have that checked. I don't want usage. So you pick which ones go to usage. Mr. Eric.
How would you record, and we've run into this several times, where a customer asks for a bill of material, say 10 lines, 2 of those are critical, you don't have 1 of them, they cancel the entire order, but you did have 8 of those lines.
Here's what I put the order on. And it won't be long, and it's great. You guys will be answering these questions for me because you're already there. Because if you let this, 98% of what I present up there is going, what? Pretty common sensey, nothing magical, just haven't heard it this way. But when you start thinking about it, you'll go, oh, so here's what was just said. They ordered product A, they wanted 10, we had 10. They ordered product B, wanted 5, we had 5. They ordered product C, they wanted 5, we don't have any. They go, well, forget it, I don't want the order. Now, we know that's a lost sale. But if I would have had this, would I have sold these 2? I'm going to push the whole order through as a lost sale because I want usage, because next month if I have C, they're also going to take A and B. If I don't push A and B through, I'll have C next month, but I won't have A and B. So if an order gets canceled due to 1 line, the whole order should still go through as a lost sale like I sold it. And again, you're shaking your heads because now you're getting point, oh, that just makes sense, doesn't it? That's where I knew we would get to that when you're going, ah, I knew that once I thought about it for a moment. Perfect, you guys. Now, on fax, so I'm in OE, there's a multitude of ways to get lost sales in on fax. They really grabbed a hold of it. If I delete the whole doc, now again, what we just talked about. All right, I can push the whole thing through as a lost sale. If I delete a line, and what I'm doing is I'm just sucking in different pull-ups. Or I've actually got a lost sales entry. I can just go on the fly instead of a piece of paper on SX and go on a right-click, in fax, right-click, and it'll pull up a lost sales screen. I put in customer, product, quantity, back out of it. So fax, again, since that got rewritten just recently, has some different logic. You'll find some things you'll go, wow, 10 years ago, all my fax users wanted to come to SX. Now, since fax has got brought up, I've got a couple SX folks wanting to go to fax. There's not enough difference between the 2 to shift by any means. But again, this is kind of like paper on fax, a very quick entry system. So again, within fax, I can delete the whole doc. I can delete the line. I'm going to tell it a reason if I'm going and where it's going. Or I can just pull up with the right click anywhere on the system at any time. I forget, who's a fax user that has this? Where's that? I right click. Anywhere, correct? If I right click, it pulls this screen. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't misleading you. Anywhere. Okay. Anything on lost sales before I leave it? Lost sales is your hidden part to have stellar fill rate at the lowest cost to serve. Because it's easy to get a stellar fill rate if I'm not worried about, you don't have to log any lost sales and still, if you want a stellar fill rate, as long as you what? If you got $1 million inventory, give me another $2 million. We'll buy another 3 warehouses, fill them all up, and we'll probably do okay. Your turns will suck, but we'll have great fill rate. Okay? Or, flip side, if I really want turns, we can go out there and I can get you any turns, but you won't have good customer experience. I'm showing you a path to have stellar customer experience and great profitability, and that is what? Rifling in on the inventory you really need, not all this extra stuff you do not need. This is different, and that's why, how are we going to know? by shifting what we do from number punchers. That's what we've done traditionally when we've got our systems to letting it do the work and us managing the data and the parameters. That's what we need our human touch for. I don't need humans sitting down entering a 100-line PO anymore. Your system can do that, or spending 3 and 4 hours on a PO. Give it good data, give it good parameters. It'll cut the PO in 23 seconds better than we ever did during that 3 hours. Shift your time where your time is spent. All right, now a few other things about usage. Remember, we already talked about this. Oh, we had a bunch of back orders in April. It came in May. We shipped it and put all the usage into the wrong month. You can now control that on your system by telling it post usage off of order date. So let's be invoice, but base it off of order date or invoice date. If you don't have that option, we'll often go back in the usage when we have extended back orders and take usage out of that month where I did 60, push 30 of it back into the previous month, which were the back orders. Credits. Credits are often issued right in the period today. So if I sold something last January and I issue a credit today, what do I see happen on many systems? 5 sold in January, minus 5 in June. Everyone there? That isn't what we want. We want that to shift back to where it was originally taken. All right, so these are things that we have to sometimes go in and fix our usage buckets with. They forgot to record the exception. It's not going to reoccur. They forgot to record the lost sales. So these are just things that we do in our usage buckets to correct them, make them work better. How are you going to find these? How are you going to find this? Now, some of them are going to come through good exception tools. Some are going to come when you're cutting the PO and go, something's wrong. This item's, why is it buying so much? Oh, they didn't log the exceptional sale. How come it's buying so little? I remember we had such oh, they didn't log the lost sales. Or we got a paper method and it didn't make it in, whatever it is. So you're going to catch a lot of this by just doing your business. Now this one, smoothing. We sell 1, then we sell 4, then we sell 6, then we sell 1, then we sell 7, then we sell 1, then we sell 10. That starts doing this. Everyone with me? If it's an important enough item, you'll see companies come in and say, what's the normal quantity? In those months where we sell 1, they'll actually override it to 3 or 4 so it gets history to go with it, so it doesn't have this bumpiness. They'll smooth that out. I'm not doing that on D items, you guys, but I'm doing that on good A items, usage smoothing. And I'm looking at hits and costs. And again, what I'm talking about there, I'm not going to spend much human time on a 2-hit wonder. I'm going to spend more human time on something that sells 5, 10, 20 times a year. You guys with me? I want to look at where am I investing my time. So high hits, I want to invest time, or even if it's low hits, but it's a high cost item, I want it to work right. So I think about high hit items, I'm going to spend extra time proactively fixing them. High cost, I'm going to spend extra time because those are the 2 things that get me into trouble. Low hits and low cost. I'm not going to worry about it because if I do make a mistake, oh, I just brought in 2 cents and it's a year's supply. It's 2 cents. I'm not saying I wanted to bring in the 2 cents, but if you spend more than a microsecond looking for it and find it, we already spent 5 cents. All right, so sometimes we have to keep that bigger picture in mind. And then also alignment, and this is, again, this all comes from the past, but we have to line it up with the future. What if I pick up a new customer? What if I lose a customer? We've been doing, 100, 100, and 100, and that was made up of 2 customers, a 90 and a 10, a 90 and a 10, and a 90 and a 10, and we lose our guy that's been buying 90. They went out of business. They got bought, whatever it is. If you don't come fix your history, it's based on the past, it's going to keep ordering. I'm actually going to come in and say we lost them and go and override that usage on important items back down to 10. You're going, where am I getting this time? You're not punching as many numbers. You're now becoming data and parameter inventory managers, not buyers entering POs. New or lost customer. New or replacement product, same thing. What happens if a product takes over? Sometimes you have to shift your buckets to make it line up with reality. So again, let's bring this back together. Is the item seasonal or non-seasonal? All right, and we spend a lot of time on usage because this is where it all starts. And then again, what window size? Normally on A's, we'll use a 2 to 3 months, B's a 3 to 4 month, C's a 4 to 5 month, D's 5 to 6, E's 6. Now these are general starting parameters. If you notice something that I do a lot over other consultants or folks you come in, a lot of folks that you have come in, they'll take you in the screens and say, set this to this, set this to this, set this to this, set this to this. They leave, it's not working right, and you have no clue why it's not working. I take a different approach. I want you to understand how the system works, how the parameters feed into it, because if you understand that, What are you going to be much better at? If it's not working right, what's not working and why, and the right way to fix it versus someone just loaded a bunch of parameters on you. Does that make sense? So I spend a lot of time making sure you understand. And where I'm going with that is some of you may say, hey, on my C items, I need an 8-month window because of something going on. So these are general, but there may be differences for your company. Here's where we talked about seasonal trending. Just pulling this all together because I know my whiteboard writing's not the best sometimes. So here we were, June, July, August, just like we talked about. It looked at the previous 3 months, so it went back. And all it's saying is, same period last year, we sold 100. The same period this year, we sold 150. It's trending at 1.5 or 150%, showing you how the trending works again. And the advanced buy lead time again. This product has a 90-day lead time, so it went back to last April. This was April, May, June. Yeah, so we were in